Welcome. In today's lecture, we're going to see the e-commerce as an application of IT and how it is implemented in the organizations. E-commerce is known as the electronic commerce, and the commerce means buying and selling of products and services and information, but it is done through the computer networks or the internet. The commerce is being done earlier by the traditional methods and means. Today it's being done through the electronic means, and that is what is an e-commerce. It helps the companies to have global presence 24/7, 365 days. I mean, it's not necessary for that. There is nothing like day and night. It can have a presence in the net or the internet throughout the day. That is one biggest benefit of e-commerce. Business can define innovative products. Today you can have innovative products which you can define, you can show it to others, you can give innovative services, you can advertise the existence of the business houses can advertise their existence in the net. They can provide electronic catalog in lieu of the manual catalog. They can use the electronic payment system in lieu of the uh, actual manual payment systems. Deliveries can be affected. Sometimes it is through the actually online in case of softwares and others, but in other cases the delivery can be tracked, the transportation can be tracked. They can provide customer service and through the e-commerce technology. So there is immense benefit of this e-commerce today. The e-commerce transaction may happen between business to business, two business houses. Say for example, a manufacturing organization can have business with their suppliers, with the distributors, or from outsourcing with other organizations. There is business of business to consumer because business houses making dealing with the consumers, and then even consumers are talking to the business houses. Similarly, there may have consumer to consumer when two consumer, they are trying to sell their goods to each other. That will be consumer to consumer business transaction, like as we're doing in case of eBay. So there are various kinds of e-commerce transactions that are happening today's time. But then for this e-commerce implementation, there are various supports which are required. Number one, as you know, then if you want to implement it through the use of IT, and since in case of IT there is no traditional meeting of people face to face, so if you are doing business online, there is always a chance of ensuring that the identity of the buyers and sellers, because the buyer do not know the seller do not know the buyer. So there is a need for authentication, that to whom we are really talking to whom we are really doing the business, and that authentication is very much required in case of e-commerce implementation, which may be probably done by the use of passwords and all that. There is certification or guaranteeing identity of buyers or sellers by an official third party. You see the your what do you call it, digital certificates which are being issued for to certify the person's entity and his existence. There are certification authorities by the help of which you can guarantee the person to whom you're dealing with. And once the identity is verified, the authorization or the ability to control access to specific resource or conduct certain transactions come into play. I mean, one thing is verifying the identity of the person, authorizing the person to enter into talking to each other and doing the business, and then after going into the net, and there is access control, that where and when you are accessing each other's server, then where one can go and how we can conduct the transaction, that also comes into play. These transactions are conducted by electronic media, so there is another problem: the confidentiality or the secrecy of the transmitted information, because the buyer is selling certain information, seller is sending certain information to each other. So there is a question of confidentiality as well as the completeness of transaction. So those are taken care of by the IT implementation by various technologies. There is a question of non-repudiation. I mean, there is an agreement between buyer and seller, and if once the buyer has made an agreement, since we are going online, there is no virtual signature, physical signature. If somebody tomorrow goes back and say, no, I'm not in agreement with this, so therefore to ensure that the person is already made a commitment or a promise which he wants to fulfill in the business, he cannot go back from it. There is a question of non-repudiation, and that will be also be implemented by the technologies involved in with the through the IT. And once such agreement exists, confirmation of method to record the order and receive a receipt must also exist. So receiving the order and then receiving the goods and then the receipt. There is the use of intelligent agents or personal shoppers are currently under development, act as a proxy to the buyer. The buyer, tomorrow the time is coming when the buyer or the user may not have time and he wants that a computer as an intelligent agent. There may be certain devices, certain technologies which can work for and on behalf of the shopper or for the on behalf of the user, and those are known as intelligent agents. To have a little understanding about it, say for example, when you're going to a search engine and giving a search command, then that particular software on behalf of you is going into the net and bringing those informations to you, is working just like an intelligent agent. And so there may be intelligent agents for shopping of the products. Finally, we require a secure, reliable and flexible method of payment. And payment is a very important, the crucial thing, because payment involves, I mean, giving certain information in the net, and so everyone, the buyer or the seller who is making the payment, needs to be extra sure that he is not going to compromise with his security. And therefore, because there are many chances of fraud when data is going through the net, so there must have a secure and reliable and flexible method for payment. That's one very important aspect. Electronic commerce is a means to business ends like improving costs, relationship, channels, process, and shareholders value. I mean, when we're doing business or commerce through electronically, we're doing the same business but in a different way, in a different process, by different technology implementation, which has improved the cost, reduced the cost, it has improved the relationship, the channels are much better, the process is much better, shareholder is getting more value by implementation of this e-commerce. We can briefly see the application, the various applications in e-commerce. Number one, there is EDI, electronic data interchange, and electronic data interchange involves sending off, transmitting of data in like the agreements, the documents from one business partner to the other business partner electronically. There is the use of funds transfer because the money is being sent electronically rather than sending it manually or by some other means for instant credit to the from one partner to the other partner. There is automated teller machine that you're using is also part of e-commerce. You need not go to the bank. You can go to an ATM and get your money there wherever you require. The use of debit cards and credit cards is also an application of e-commerce because you're using IT, and by that anybody from anywhere they can get money if it is there in his account. There are points of sales. If you go to a petrol pump or go to a shop, you can swipe your card in the shop and give the payment to the shopkeeper for anything that you're going to purchase there, and those are known as point of sales. And automatically and everything, your account is debited, the shopper's account is credited with the amount, so everything is being done automatically, and these are very important applications of e-commerce. There are certain aspects of e-commerce. There are certain hard aspects, there are some easy aspects, there are some difficult aspects. The hard aspect, the difficult aspects of e-commerce are that, I mean, when you are going to do an e-commerce instead of a traditional way of doing the business, traditional commerce, and you are doing it through the internet by using a website. And for only using a website, one difficult thing is that you must get traffic to come to your website. Earlier, what you used to do, you were sending an email, not an email, rather sending the mail, the manual mail to somebody to attract someone's attention to your business. Today, you have to get traffic to your website. People should come to your website and see what's there. And if the traffic comes, and the different thing, then once they come, they must not think that he should not come back again. So once they comes once and comes to your website, it should be so presentable, and it should be so a pleasant experience for the person who has come once, that he should like to come as the second time and becoming your customer. It's through the e-commerce you have to differentiate yourself in the competition, because everyone has got the website. The good websites can be prepared and it can be shown, but you have to differentiate from your competition, that how you are better from the other competitors. And then ultimately getting people to buy something from a website, maybe by using a debit card or credit card. It is not merely giving the information, ultimately it must realize into a transaction. Integrating an e-commerce website with existing business data, if it is applicable, then their existing data. If you're today implementing e-commerce, those are to be converted and those are to be brought into the new system. That is the integration of e-commerce, your old data with your e-commerce website. That may be also a little difficult process. The easy aspects, which you can, easy means here that we think is comparatively more easier. You can create a website, which is not a very difficult thing. You can take the orders from the people. You can accept the payment. I mean, it has become so easier now. Accepting the payment or taking the orders, it has become very easy through through the e-commerce. And if you look at the advantage and disadvantage of e-commerce, the number one, the advantages. The browsing the whole shop, sitting in the comfort of home and instantly. Yesterday, in the traditional business, if you want to purchase something, you need to go to the market, and even there you do not know at which shop what kind of goods that you will get, and your desired goods is available. So me, I have to go to 5 places, 10 places, 20 places to ultimately understand know where your particular product is available, and that may take even days. But then you can now get a shop in the website, and you can search the website very easily. Number of websites sitting at your home, which becomes more comfortable. The products can be purchased and delivered at home. You can purchase online, give an order, and the goods, if it is a software, it can be sent directly. And otherwise, the goods will be sent to the courier and delivered at your home. You need not go anywhere. It removes the hassles of crowds and lineups from the consumer's routine. When you're going to a shop, if you want to purchase something, there may be crowds, there may be lines. You are out of that. That thing is not required now. Suppliers can keep their shops open 24/7, 365, and with no or minimum staff. I mean, there is no requirement of staff. Only maybe to run uh, the the infrastructure, there may be some few people, and it can be open anytime throughout the day, 365 days of the year. The customer base also increases exponentially, because here your extent of reaching the customer is not within one particular city. It can go up to the entire country, it can go up to the entire globe. So the customer base also increases, because anyone can see other people joining or being customer in a particular organization. So there is a benefit of increasing the customer base also quite considerably. And we see the disadvantage of it, that yes, earlier when people used to take the goods delivered themselves for themselves, there's no shipping fee, but today you need to pay the shipping fee for that, when in particular when the goods are coming from the outside world. There's no chance to see and test the product. Yes, this is one very important disadvantage, because earlier one is to go to a shop and see the goods for himself and satisfy himself, and then only he would have purchased it. But today, whatever is being shown in the website, you are not being sure that ultimately what product is going to be delivered to you is the same thing or the other one. So seeing and testing the product has also become difficult, which is not possible. Chances of fraud in using debit and credit card when you're using it through the net has also become creating a very difficult problem today. And there is an immense chance of uh, those intercepting those data and using it for defrauding the person's accounts. It is difficult to establish the physical identity of the seller, because you do not know in a website, and the website may not have even a physical place where the people are sitting. So if any fraud takes place or anything takes place, you do not know where the people are really existing. There is misuse of personal information. Yes, there is a chance that whatever data you are sending through the net may be intercepted by somebody and can be misused, and that is your personal information. This is also very important disadvantage of the e-commerce. Now let us see what are the steps involved in implementing e-commerce and website. The first one, to making a website, e-commerce website, you have to plan and design. I mean, what tasks that you want to carry out through this website. That means what particular goods that you are going to sell, and you have to design a web store where people will come and see and display information given by you, and that has to be planned and designed because it should be so attractive and so presentable that whenever some customer comes to that place, prospective customer comes to that place, he becomes impressed by it. Then figure out how to sell. What is the look? Selling means selling yourself also, selling the organization, selling the name of the organization, and selling the product also. The look of the website is very important because the people will just look it and make an idea about the organization. What details are required to be given to that, what discounts are going to the customer, what customers convenience that they are going to uh, give to the customers when they are coming to the website and looking for the particular products and wanting for the information. But that itself is very important to influence the customer's psychology. Then there comes the transaction that you are making the deal. When you make any sales, international sales, there are question of taxes, there are question of shipping charges. That's very important that you have to understand because different countries may have got different rules and regulations for different tax with a different taxing authority. What software programs that you're going to use for implementing your e-commerce transaction, what payment options that you have got. I mean, you require secure payment sites through which people will make their payments so that it becomes smoothly and without any fraud, and the security is a very important concern there that is to be thought of. Then ultimately to set up your system, either to buy a website or build a website of your own, and then you may have a template of a website from an outside agency, then customize it according to your requirement, and then ultimately build your customer base, that is through online advertisement. That ultimately you have to woo the customer, you have to get more customers flow inside traffic into your website, and that is ultimately going to help you. For using this, now as you have said that you are using the IT and in particular the networking technology, so there are various kinds of network that comes into picture. One is intranet. An intranet is a network that is within an organization. Within an organ, every organization has got its own environment, own offices, own people, own users, and that whole combination combined is known as the intranet. I mean, it is only the people who are within the organization that are going to that, getting the information. They're connected in the net. It uses the Internet Protocol technology to share information, operation system, computing services within an organization. Only no outside is available there. The term is used in contrast to Internet. And Internet is something when you're going from one network to the other network. But here we are within a network. A network with an organization is known as Internet because Internet is known as a network of networks. So it's referring to a network within an organization that is known as intranet, whereas an internet is something from one network to the other network going to other network. An intranet may host multiple private websites and constitute an important component and focal point of internal communication and collaboration. An intranet here we are talking about intranet. And the big organizations as an enterprise, they may have their they may have the business sprawling over the entire globe, and connecting all those things will be connected to various servers or the websites they have got, which are combined together and integrated, and then again it becomes an intranet because everything is within that organization. Intranets are also being used as a corporate culture change platform. I mean, the people are discussing, the people within the organization, they're discussing with each other, they're collaborating with each other through the internet. Maybe the one person is sitting here and the other person is sitting abroad, but they're sitting there in the one intranet. They can communicate with each other very easily. A large number of employees, they can discuss the key issues in an intranet forum. An application could lead to new ideas in the management. There may be increased productivity, there may be quality improvement, and other corporate issues can be solved when today even a big enterprise, they're close to each other because of the intranet. And as I've said, intranet, there is also an existence of extranet. Anything that is beyond our intranet in the outside world, any other net is known as extranet. It's a computer network that allows control access from the outside for specific business or educational purpose. I mean, since it's an extranet which is beyond your intranet, there must have controlled access because intranet is susceptible to for from the others entering into that intranet, and they may create fraud within. So there is a question of a controlled access. In a business-to-business context, an extranet can be viewed as an extension of an organization's intranet that is extended to users outside the organization. I mean, if you are an organization, you have got an intranet. Now you want to give some facility to your customer. Your customer is not within your intranet, but then you want to create a relationship with him, you create contact with him, so you can create an extranet where he will have a controlled access to your intranet, to the specific areas where you want him to really come and uh, have an access. So this an internet extranet allows that users outside, extension of the users to be connected with the intranet with the organization. It may be the partners, the customers, the vendors, the suppliers, in isolation from all other internet users. I mean, they are not in the internet. Internet is the whole world. They are with this intranet, connected to this internet through extranet, and they are only can come into this intranet for with a connection with the business, for a business a relationship which is controlled. Extranet provides access to selected outsiders. Typically, it may be clients, partners, co-workers in remote location. The workers will in a remote location, they will access to the organization's intranet. It allows the customize the level of access and to manage the amount, the type of information to be made available. The extranet will give all sort of benefits for outsiders to come into that intranet with whom the organization is interested really to give him the controlled access for the various business purposes. It's essentially secure. Extranet can allow almost everything to be shared, including text, graphics, audio, video. The basic pertinent thing here is that it is not with all other internet. It is extranet. There are only specific people who can really come and enter into the internet. The extranet solutions may also be used to support work groups when people are working as a group, but they have got virtual presence. People are sitting at different places of the world. With functions that support capabilities such as project management and document management and knowledge management, everything is available there, and people can work as a group. People can work as a group and really contribute to the organizational activity. If we look at the difference between intranet and extranet, in intranet the bandwidth is very high, in extranet it is low. The scope is intranet is made within a building or the campus, but an extranet can be extended, connected from a city to the globe. The protocols that are being used in both the cases, since in networking we're using internet protocols. The security in case of intranet is comparatively low because it's within the network, within the organization. So it's moderate to high because it is only the people who are within can make some fraud or anything of that kind. So it's moderate to high. And in case of extranet, it is low to moderate. I mean, because there is a controlled access to the internet, so it's low to moderate. The extranet works for, the process by which it is working. It allows any guest from an intranet to extranet. There is requirement for giving username and password to authenticate the user. As I said, anybody is coming from outside to authenticate him. There is the requirement of giving some username and a password so as to ensure the right person is entering into the net. To avoid this, unauthorized users to enter into the extranet by stealing the username and password. Yes, there is always a chance of using the or getting access to somebody's username and password. The authorization must be more stricter because anybody can come inside, get a wrong number, and get somebody's username and somebody's password. They can enter inside. So we must have a defense for that. For doing that, they implement this strict authorization. There is the question of digital certificate. I mean, in a network, when two servers talk to each other, somebody is trying to take, I mean, going inside the server, giving access to a server. So there is a sharing of the transferring of the digital certificate, is exchanging digital certificate, which authenticates the person who is using the particular net for a particular purpose. So that authentication is more stricter than, it's not merely username and password. It has got many other high technology which can really ensure and authenticate the persons entering. The external applications are based on the open internet standards such as HTTP, which is compatible to many other things, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, TCP, the Transmission Control Protocol, or IP Internet Protocol, the File Transfer Protocol, SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and Hypertext Markup Language HTML, X.500, X.509, SSL, the Secure Socket Layer, which in particular is very important in ensuring that authentication, the stricter authentication, where handshaking takes place between two servers to first authenticate that who is the person, and the certificates are also exchanged. These certificates are exchanged to ensure the right people is connected to the net. The various technologies which are being extranet applications may be yes, we are using web browsers and servers. That a server is a computer, web browser which helps us to browse into the net. There are file transfer servers, secure file transfer servers. There is customer account management systems by which we manage the customers. There is remote administration tools that whether the customer or the employee of the organization is remotely connected to the organization, how to administer him, how to be connected with him. There may be directory servers where data is kept. There is an authentication system by which we ensure that the right people is entering into the net. There are commerce systems. By in the commerce, there is selling, purchasing, and dealing with the customers and other business partners. That commerce system is there. There is distributed computing infrastructure and databases. The distributed networking is there, where a database as well as is placed at different places which are connected in a network, and people have access from any part of the world to the net. There is messaging system by which one can talk to others, send messages to others. There are firewalls and proxies. As I've said that in a situation when from people are connected from the extranet coming to the intranet, then there is a need for ensuring that people who are coming are really authenticated and no unauthorized person is entering into that with any bad or any bad motive. So there are firewalls which really screens those entries inside and then takes care that the right people are coming, the right users are coming into the net, and for that there may have proxies. The user first comes to a proxy server. The user thinks that he is really entering into the server, but then the server will give him entry to the actual server after only authenticating or ensuring that the right person is trying to enter into the website. There are security scanners are there which can have check on the security aspects. You can see a design of an extranet. There is a LAN, internal LAN in the intranet, which is supported with a LAN server, and from that LAN server is now trying to go inside an internet service server of the organization, but it will pass through a firewall. There is a protected service network. A firewall will first see that whether the entry which is coming, the user is trying to enter inside, is authorized or not, and then ultimately it will be if it is coming and going into some internet somewhere outside, it will pass through the firewall. But every point of time, the firewall will be there to check the entry and allow the right people to come inside. The benefits of extranet will have company-wide communication, email, and program sharing, because through the net, everyone can share with each other. One can have intercompany business communications and transactions through this. There may be consumer support or customer support is possible to be given by this. One can have online sales by using the extranet. There is possible of conducting the e-commerce in a secure socket encrypted manner. The security, as I said, the SSL, the secret socket layer protocol, can be used. And there is a provision of firewall protection where the entry can be checked. There is a provision of password protection is there. There is secure internal operations are there. There is vendor and supplier access to the internet, to the intranet as an extranet. There is worldwide product leverage is there. So there are various immense benefits of extranet today because the intranet and the extranet, they are collaborating with each other for the mutual benefits. And since we have talked about intranet and internet, we can also talk a little about internet. Internet is a global system where it is not within the intra or not in the extranet. It's an open world where every network is present there, and one can have an access to that. It uses TCP/IP protocol, which is known as Transmission Control Protocol, and Internet Protocol, and is serving the billions of users worldwide. It's a network of networks that consists of millions of private, public, academic, business, and government networks of local and global scope. They're linked by a broad array of electronic, wireless, and optical networking technology. I mean, the transmission media, it may be electrical, it may be wireless, or through the optical cables. The internet carries an extensive range of information resources and services, and they're connected to various interlinked hypertext documents by which you can have an access to actually unimaginable number of the amount of information from the globe. If you can see what you have learned in this particular lesson, e-commerce, electronic commerce, the buying and selling of products, services, information via computer networks or the internet. But it requires support of authentication, security, non-repudiation, and secure payment system. There are various applications of e-commerce like EDI, EFT, ATM, debit card, credit card, POS, etc., which is very common nowadays. There are various advantages of e-commerce, and the implementation of any e-commerce requires intranet and extranet, and of course the existing internet. By doing it today, organizations are really has gone far away and doing business in a global scale much more efficiently and effectively. Thank you very much.